We wanted an opportunity for the council and the public to hear about a new tax credit program called the Washington Working Families Tax Credit. I think what we'll do is Mr. Flint, will I introduce you, or should we introduce our friends from the Department of Revenue first? What makes most sense? We didn't coordinate this first.
I can do the other introductions.
You first? Yeah. Please come to the podium. We have Brian Flint, the Executive Director of Sound Outreach here. Mr. Flint.
Thanks, Chair Mello and members of the County Council. Thank you for allowing us to be here, and look forward to the partnership with Pierce County on publicizing this. My name is Brian Flint, and I am Executive Director of the Sound Outreach. And Sound Outreach is a Pierce County nonprofit that provides free service to working families who are struggling to make ends meet. And the way we do that is we provide financial counseling and employment coaching to families on a one-on-one basis. And we do that through the Center for Strong Families in partnership with United Way of Pierce County. And we do that in 3 locations on the Hilltop. And then we do that in partnership with 2 family resource centers in Pierce County, one in Bethel and one at the Sumner Bonnie Lake Family Center. And so I want to take this opportunity to thank the county executive and the council for the partnership and the funding support, both for the Family Center and the Center for Strong Families work that we do there. I am here to talk about the Washington Family Tax Credit, Working Families Tax Credit, and this is a great opportunity for families who find themselves with a lower income scale to receive a tax credit on their 2022 taxes. And it's their money, and it's money for them to use to support their lives and their livelihood. It is money also for our communities. Once in the pocket of close to 50,000 families that are eligible in Pierce County, they will spend it at the grocery store. They will spend it with their doctor. They will spend it in restaurants, taking their family out to dinner. So without further ado, we're going to have a short presentation from Alejandra Vidilla, who's our outreach specialist with Sound Outreach, and then Perla Gamboa, who is the Outreach and Community Partnership Manager with the Department of Revenue. And so to talk about the tax credit, I'll ask Alejandra to step forward.
Thank you, Mr. Flint.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you, Brian, for that explanation. So as Brian mentioned, my name is Alejandra Villeda, and I am the Outreach Coordinator for Sound Outreach. I also wanted to share that Sound Outreach is one of 37 community-based organizations in Washington State that got funding from the Washington State Department of Commerce to promote this new tax credit that will help bring more money for working individuals and families at tax time. I also wanted to share that Perla Gamboa from the Department of Revenue is with us via Zoom, and so she will go ahead and answer any questions if there are any at the end. So just a really short agenda for today. I will briefly be sharing some context on what is the Working Families Tax Credit, eligibility, the application process, why should people apply, and again, questions, if any, at the end. So for some short context, the Working Families Tax Credit has actually been in the works for a very long time. It was enacted in 2008, but due to lack of funding, it did not move forward. And so for it to finally be here is truly exciting and definitely long overdue. Community members and community leaders have long advocated for this, so again, definitely very exciting. The Working Families Tax Credit builds on the success of the Federal Earned Income Tax Credit, and the program is intended to support Washington's moderate to low income working individuals and families. And there are 3 components to the purpose of this Working Families Tax Credit. 1, to stimulate the local economy. 2, advance racial equity. And 3, to promote economic stability for workers and their families. So essentially, we can view the Working Families Tax Credit as Washington state version of the Federal Earned Income Tax Credit, and really provides an income boost to working people in the form of a tax refund. And the refund returns a portion of sales tax paid each year. So the application opened on February 1st and are accepted through December 31st. And actually, there are about 60,000 applications that have now been, entered. So that's a really great outcome, and it's only been, 2 weeks. So the payments can be up to $1,200 to individuals and families who meet the eligibility requirements. And payments are based on income level and number of children who qualify. An important thing to note is that unlike the federal earned income tax credit, the state working families tax credit is open to applicants with an ITIN number. And for those who don't know what an ITIN number is a tax processing number that is issued by the Internal Revenue Service that allows people who are undocumented, certain student visa holders, and survivors of domestic violence to go ahead and file their taxes, which is truly exciting because, as we know, these people, they pay taxes and have really been excluded from economic supports like so. So here are the eligibility requirements. 1, you must have lived in Washington for more than 6 months or 183 days. You must have filed a tax return with your Social Security number or an ITIN. You are between the ages of 25 and 65 years old, or you're single, which is really great because single, you don't have to have children to necessarily qualify for this. You should be eligible to claim for the federal earned income tax credit, though you are not required to claim it as well. And you must meet the adjusted gross income. An important thing to note is that applicants do not have to be currently employed, but must have earned some sort of income in 2022. So here is the income chart. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go ahead and run through a couple examples. So, for example, if I were filing as single head of household, I make less than $16,480. I have no qualifying children. The maximum refund amount that I can receive is $300. Likewise, if you are married filing jointly, you make less than $22,610. You have no qualifying children. Then the maximum credit amount that you can receive is $300. And individuals are actually able to go ahead and see if they qualify on the Department of Revenue website. This is the first page that pops up, and then there on the green circle, you can just go ahead and check and see if you qualify. It's a super short and really easy way to go ahead and see if you qualify ahead of time. So how can you apply? You can go ahead, as I mentioned, check your availability at workingfamiliescredit.wa.gov. 2, and a really important one, is that you must file your 2022 tax return first. And actually, there are some free resources at the end of the PowerPoint that individuals can go ahead and check to see where they can go ahead and do their taxes for free. An important thing to note is that if you are using an external tax preparer, they can actually file the tax credit at the same time as submitting your taxes. Though it's important to note that not all tax preparation services will have the Working Families Tax Credit application implemented. For example, TurboTax is a software that will not have it just for this year. We'll see the next following years, but it's pilot year. And third, you can go ahead and apply for the Working Families Tax Credit. Applications can be submitted online or on paper. For online, you can go ahead and go to workingfamiliescredit.wa.gov and create a secure access Washington account. And the online application is available in both English and Spanish. And the paper application is available at your local Department of Revenue office and available in the following languages listed. Here are some things that you'll need to apply. 1, a copy of your federal tax return, legal name, Social Security, or ITIN, date of birth for you, your spouse, or your children, your Washington State driver's license or ID number, your current residential and mailing address, banking routing number and account number if you choose direct deposit, and applicant signature. And you can expect to receive your refund within 30 days or unless additional information is needed. So why should people apply? This is my favorite part. As Brian mentioned, this is money that belongs to the people. This program was advocated by the people for the people. And so there's millions of dollars that are here for the program. And because it builds on the federal earned income tax credit, there's actually data that shows that there's actually millions of people that don't even take advantage of this credit, which leaves millions of dollars just not going back to the pockets of the people. And so people can definitely use this money to pay for rent, groceries, a down payment for a car, put into your savings, college tuition. I mean, I automatically think of people that are in college that can use this for summer tuition because FAFSA oftentimes does not cover aid. And I think this program is great because it's an inclusive approach to people without children. And like I mentioned, Washington State is now the 5th in the nation to include eligibility for I-10 filers, which I want to again emphasize that I think is a start to addressing the systemic exclusion that certain groups have been excluded from. There's about 420,000 people who are eligible here in Washington State and about 50,000 who are eligible in Pierce County. And 20,000 of those people have an I-10 number who are eligible. Lastly, here are some resources. On the left side, you can go ahead and see where the application is located. Sound Outreach has gone ahead and created flyers in both English and Spanish, and the link to the other community-based organizations in Washington State. People can go ahead and submit their applications to the addresses listed there. And on the right are free tax preparation services. Again, free services that people should definitely take advantage of. And that is it. Thank you so much. And Perla, again, is up on Zoom. If there are any questions, she'll be gladly to help answer them.
Thank you so much, Ms. Villeda. Ms. Gamboa, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Sure. Welcome for having us. Thank you.
Do you have anything to add to what we've heard so far?
Just that we are really looking forward to making sure that all of the communities, especially those that are hard to reach, take advantage of this program. As Brian and Alejandra mentioned, the Department of Revenue has provided, with the Department of Commerce, we have provided grants. Legislature awarded $10 million in grants to nonprofit organizations to do this outreach. And Sound Outreach is one of those organizations throughout the state.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you for helping local communities and local messengers like county government and Sound Outreach have the toolkits and the resources to be able to get to especially hard to reach communities and into different languages as well. So thank you for making those resources and tools available. Let me turn to my colleagues to see what questions and comments we have about what we've heard this afternoon. We'll start with Councilmember Morell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this might be directed at Ms. Gamboa. The cutoff at the age of 65, why did you pick that number?
So this was part of the legislation process. There are some, we're following the requirements for the EITC, the federal income tax return. And this is not to say that in the future it cannot be moved, but for 2023, those are the ages. That is only for people that do not have qualifying children. If there is a person that is over 65 and takes care of grandchildren or adopted kids and whatnot, they do qualify. So those ages are only for people that do not have qualifying children.
Got it. Okay, thank you for explaining that.
Thank you. Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair, and that is an excellent question. And based on the report this morning about kinship care we've got going in Pierce County, we have some families to reach out to. I am curious about the reach out, how we really are actively getting the message out to community. And I know that you received some funding and you're doing some intentional workshops. And can you tell me a little bit more about how we're getting into the communities that have been hard pressed to get access to this information in the past?
Of course. So we have partnered with 37 community organizations through our grants. We are also doing, meeting communities where they are. I have 5 other people in my team, and that we cover different areas in the state. I'm actually local. I live in Tacoma and wish I was there today. But in my team, there are people that work from the offices in Yakima, Spokane, several other places. We also have an advertising company that is doing TV advertising and also transportation. Some of you may have seen the commercial on TV, but we will also have, of course, a social media posting and just doing these workshops, presentations. We have been doing several presentations for city and county councils. And actually, one of the things that really helps after this is if you would like to take a look at the resources that we have in our toolkit, because we have several prepared messages. And I know that many of you may have newsletters, right, to reach out to the communities that you serve and you represent. And so we will really, if you would like to visit our website, workingfamiliescredit.wa.gov, and take a look at the toolkit. There are a lot of messages that you can just go ahead and use in your communications.
Thank you for that. Did you have something to
Yeah,
add?
can I add to that? Yeah, so definitely everything Perla had just mentioned. For us specifically, it's been really great to have, again, my appointee person is Perla. And so anytime that I go out to the community, whether it's presentation meetings, I've gone ahead and asked Perla if she can join me just because, of course, she can go ahead and answer those more complex questions. It really helps too that she speaks, Spanish, bilingual. And so right now we're really working on to reaching those Spanish-speaking communities, because again, they're the majority that have that ITIN number. In terms of outreach, we are really working hard, and we've been pretty successful at just attending any kind of community outreach events that here in the city, as well as meeting with Councilmember Mello and getting us to be here, because I think that these are really great ways to get the word out. Having influential leaders like you, all, I think really helps as well. And the little things, but creating such, marketing, spending time on things that maybe, people are going to use, just to kind of, have that reminder, that this is not here to go, this is here to stay. And so even though, it's pilot year, I think, Department of Revenue is already, working on how can we increase those adjusted gross incomes, because realistically, that's not a lot of money that, families are still, up here surviving, trying to say, okay, how can we really make ends meet? And so really it's a community effort. There's 37 community-based organizations. We are not alone. There's no way that I myself, Sound Outreach, can reach all 50,000 in Pierce County. So really any time that we can go ahead and just be out in the community, doing these presentations, events, really think that together we can go ahead and reach all that are eligible. So thank you. And we will share these at the end with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'm not seeing any other hands. I want to thank my colleagues for the questions and the attention we gave today. Really want to thank our community-based partner here, Sound Outreach, for the work you're doing throughout our community, not just in Tacoma, to help get the word out. I've asked our communications manager to make sure that he works with Sound Outreach and the Department of Revenue to get their toolkit and make it fully available to our offices, so we can communicate with our constituents as members wish to do that. So those resources are available through Mr. Dominique in our communications office. And as you said, right, close to 50,000 individuals and families in Pierce County, we estimate, are eligible for this tax credit, this tax refund. And we want to make sure each and every one of them have a easy and accessible way to get their money back in their pocket. So we look forward to partnering with you to get the word out. As it becomes more second nature, then we'll have to do less education outreach, but it's brand new. So it's going to take a lot more trusted messengers to get the word. This is not a scam. This really is a free check if you're eligible. So we're eager to help get that word out. Thank you for helping us educate our community.